Some days you look at yourself in the mirror and you see nothing. Not literally, I know that's not how mirrors work, but you know what I mean. That feeling of looking at your own reflection and just not finding anyone there. Like you're a vampire, right? No reflection, no proof of presence, just a vague outline of someone who's supposed to be a person. And it's not just the mirror, it's kind of everything. Some days you move through your life like on spectator mode, like you're watching yourself do your daily tasks, brush your teeth, walk to the store. Is any of this real? Am I actually here? Does it register anywhere, somewhere in the universe that I exist and I'm doing these things? And that's the question underneath all of it. Not just am I okay, not just will I get better, but something older and stranger and harder to shake. Do I matter? I've been turning that over now, and I want to share my thoughts out loud, see if that resonates with you. Here's where my brain goes. In the grand scheme of things, cosmically, universally, you and I are almost, or really, we are incomprehensibly small. We all are. The universe is 13.8 billion years old and stretches further than we can measure and will continue long after every trace of us is gone. All of it. And against that backdrop, how I butter my toast doesn't register. How you eat your pizza doesn't register, whether you fold it or you eat the crust first. The videos I make, the texts I write, the choices I make on a Tuesday afternoon, none of it moves the cosmos in any measurable way. So does it matter? Does any of it matter? And then the darker version of that question is, if I die, or if you die, if we die, will it matter to anyone in the long run? In the grand scheme of things, does one life, my life or your life, actually change anything? I think about that, and then I think, hold on, wait. Because here's the thing I see after that, right? Even at this scale, even as small as we are, we have an impact. And not on the cosmos, the universe, but on each other. And maybe that's the whole point, really. Maybe the question isn't whether my existence registers in the stars, but maybe the question is whether it registers in the people around me. Maybe I don't matter to the universe, but I matter to the people around me. And the stranger I smiled at, and the person I held the door for, and the friend I texted at the right moment, or in the homeless person I got a water for just because I could. Every single thing you do creates a ripple. You cut someone off in traffic, that's a ripple. You push a rock with your foot on the subway platform, and then someone 12 hours later trips on it, that's a ripple too. You make a video at 2 a.m. that a stranger finds on their worst night, that's a ripple. And it travels further than you'll ever know. The ripples don't stop at the person you touched. They keep going. Because the person you were kind to goes home and then is kinder to their kid. The stranger who found your video at 2 a.m. decides to stay and impacts hundreds of other lives. That decision changes everything downstream. Every person they'll ever meet, every ripple they'll ever make. All because of the ripple you made yourself. And we don't get to see the full shape of what we set in motion. But that doesn't mean it isn't there. It's just difficult to grasp. And I know it's not healthy to compare yourself to others, but I'll say it anyway because it's honest, right? Sometimes I look at people who seem to have more impact. And I mean scientists, activists, leaders, and I wonder if my small, quiet existence measures up. Or if they'll ever measure up. If the ripples I make are big enough to count. And then I think, well, what if I do something small that changes the life of one of those people? What if something I say or do or make reaches someone who goes on to do something enormous? Something like cure cancer or create the newest life improvement technology. I'll personally never know. None of us ever know the full shape of what we set in motion. And honestly, I'm not comfortable with that thought. I wish I could have it all mapped out. I don't know if you guys have ever played Until Dawn, but they have the butterfly effect. And at the end, it tells you how your decisions might have impacted some things. It tells you when you made a decision that will impact the end of the story, right? Anyway, here's my big dramatic and like philosophical ending, okay? The sum of whether you matter might just be the sum of how many times you've moved through someone else's life and left something behind. And it's not always something big. It's not always something good, because the bad ripples count too. It's important to be honest about the bad ripples, because they do matter a lot. We hurt people sometimes. We cut them off, literally and figuratively. Those ripples matter too. But the fact that you're thinking about it, the fact that right now you're here, asking whether your existence has weight, worrying about how you impact other people's lives, that already tells you something. And it tells me something about you too. Because in a world full of people who never stop to ask this question, you are asking it. In a world where introspection is rare and uncomfortable and easy to avoid, you're looking inward anyway. You're sitting with the hardest question there is and refusing to look away from it. And here's the thing I'm coming to believe. The thing I want to leave you with is I matter because I doubt my value. And so do you, but hold on. That sounds backwards, but just stay with me. The people who never question whether they matter, who move through the world taking up space without a second thought about the impact they leave or the impact they have on anyone, they're not the ones making it better. The ones who make it better are the ones who stop, who look in the mirror and see nothing for a second and ask, am I here? Does this count? Does it matter how I treat people or what I put out into the world? Does it matter whether I stay or not? And doubting your value doesn't make you worthless. It makes you infinitely more valuable than the ones who never really think to ask. You matter because you asked. And you asked because you're someone who knows what it's like to live with the feeling of not mattering. Bye!